In our orchestra, we have 5 French horn players, and principal means I lead the section. I am basically the solo player. We each have a very different role. This was my very first job, and I have had this job in the Louisiana Philharmonic for 16 years. But when I was in college, I probably practiced 5 hours a day for 3 years. And I've done a lot of other things. I've done a lot of studio work. I've gotten to travel around the country. I've been to Europe just to play music. Music was a very big part of my life. My mother played piano growing up. She would do a lot by ear. And so she was pretty much the first person that exposed me to music. And I took piano lessons probably starting at the age of 5. And I picked up the French horn in the 6th grade. I was exposed to sports at a very young age as well. My dad coached my soccer team growing up. I played soccer for about 10 years. And then we do family fun runs in the summer. Giving kids the opportunity to express themselves outside of school, I think, is beneficial in their schoolwork because it motivates them to do better. And my parents always enforced that. You know, you can push yourself harder, you can do it. You can achieve whatever it is you want to do. There was a time in practicing where I didn't feel I was as good as I should be, and my brain wanted to do things that my body couldn't physically do yet. So I think it was a challenge for me kind of growing into where my mind wanted me to be. The most common bond between any sport and music for me is the discipline that it takes to do it. And just make sure that you're achieving the goals that you set. Goal setting is a very important part of both music and sports. And keeping it interesting and fun. I'm fortunate to play horn because I think it's one of the most expressive instruments in the orchestra. Even in movie music like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, you always hear a lot of brass, and to me that's so exciting. No performance is ever the same, and you can always put your personality into it. I can express emotionally anything that I want to. No matter what kind of day that I've had, if I'm sad or even happy, I can express that in my music. And I think that's the most incredible tool that I have. As musicians, we study the history of the music. Our French horn was originally a hunting horn, so it would do hunting calls, and it was one coil. So you had to do everything basically with your lips and your hand. So I wasn't using any fingers at all. So they'd just put their hand here. So it was all open, very open. So in Mozart's time, 1750 to 1790, we had the horn with crooks. So if I wanted to play lower, I would put a longer crook in. If I wanted to play higher, I would put a shorter crook in. And Mozart did write 4 horn concertos, and sometimes those were played with hand and the bell and changing notes with the hand or the crooks. In the pieces tonight, we don't have a lot of solos, but we do a lot of outlining chords. In the late 1800s, like Mahler, Wagner, Brahms, that's when they started having the valves put on instruments to make them easier. I can play scales and things using my fingers. And I don't know if you could tell the difference, but when I take my hand out of the bell, the horn is more brassy. And then here, much nicer. So more mellow and that beautiful tone that you associate with the French horn. With the valves that we have a lot more melodies. We can do big flourishes and things. Louisiana Philharmonic has been really good about trying to go into the schools and perform so children can see someone up close playing the instrument and then hear out sounds in an orchestra. And I think that's important to create that love for music so that they want to, maybe not necessarily play an instrument when they get older, but support the arts. And if someone's aspiring to do it, they can look to us in the orchestra to help them and guide them to a secondary school or just to take private lessons. If music is something that you are passionate about, you have to practice a lot. And some days you may practice things that you don't want to play, but that's what makes you better. Things that you want never come easy. So if you work hard for something, that's when it's attainable and that's what makes it special.